Okay, so good afternoon, class. So today we're going to be talking about statistics and probability. There are a lot of topics under statistics and probability, but we're going to be focusing on graphs and charts. So these are the objectives for the day. So by the end of the class, everyone should be aware of what these objectives are. So with that, we'll be starting with an activity. We're going to be starting with an activity. So the activity is I'll be playing music and whoever the ball lands on will be the one to answer. So Nathan, let's start. Okay, Nathan, what do you know about statistics and probability under graphs and charts?
They use graphs and charts to illustrate data gathered.
Okay, that's correct. So please pass the ball. Okay, mommy, where can you use graphs and charts?
You can use them in research.
Yes, that's correct. Nathan, would you want to add anything to mommy's answer?
What was the question again?
Where can you use graphs and charts?
That's a good answer.
Okay, that's okay, Nathan. You're gonna learn more later about it. So, with that, thank you for the activity. For those who answered, I'll be giving prizes. So, okay. Now I'm gonna be showing you a short video clip about graphs and charts. And then later on, I'll be asking you questions about what you've learned after watching the video.
Pie charts, histograms, stem plots, and time plots. We can use these tools as a way of displaying data. We often use bar charts and pie charts to display categorical data, and we often use stem plots, time plots, and histograms for displaying quantitative data.
So again, we have two types of data, which is categorical and quantitative. So again, what are the two data that we have?
Categorical and quantitative.
Okay.
Pie charts show the relative size of each value. By convention, time is always plotted on the x-axis, and the values of a variable are always plotted on the y-axis.
Okay, so what did you guys learn after watching the short video? Mommy?
Graphs and charts make gathering easier.
Yeah, that's correct. Nathan, is there anything you want to add to mommy's answer?
None.
Moving on to our discussion. When we talk about statistics, we also talk about graphs. So when we talk about graphs are the visuals or visual pictures that represents changes, growth, or deficiencies of a specific category over a period of time. So there are several categories or several kinds of graphs. We have the columns, bubbles, structured columns, but there are three specific graphs that we most commonly see among the statistical results. So the first one is the line graph, bar graph, and the pie chart, and these three are the main focus of our discussion today. So let's start with the line graph. When we talk about line graph or line chart, we most commonly represent values. So when we talk about values, we most commonly represent economic growth or economic depreciation. So this line represents the changes among the categories that we have here. For example, our categories here are the year. And then our series here represents the sales, the marketing, or the purchasing. So in a business, when we talk about values, what do we most commonly get from it?
Sales, production, marketing.
Okay, so when we talk about sales, production, and marketing, line graph is the best graph to represent those because line graph shows the growth or the changes over a period of time of a given company. So if someone is representing his or her report where the company wants to see the growth over a period of time, line graph is the best graph to use in representing the business growth or the deficiencies in a business. So, second one is the bar graph. So, bar graph, when we talk about bar graph, we most commonly hear categories. Or when we hear categories, we should always think about bar graphs. So, for example, our category now is movie genre. So, give me one more example of movie genre.
Comedy.
Okay, when we talk about comedy, for example, this category or category number 4 represents to our comedy. Since one of you class answered comedy, we will record comedy as one here. So bar graph represents the results when we talk about categories. For example, I made a survey where my students will want to, I want my students to give me their favorite movie genre. So bar graph is the best graph for me to use because this represents how many students answered each category. For example, we have romance, we have comedy, action, sci-fi, and so I want to ask you, where do we most commonly see pie chart?
You can see it in statistical research.
Okay, statistical research, because as we can always see, or if ever, I know every one of you took research already. No, you have knowledge about researches. So we most commonly see pie chart in research because pie chart represents statistical results. So best chart to use in a research is the pie chart in statistical result. So going back, when we talk about line graph, what do we most commonly describe here?
Values.
Values, okay, correct. When we talk about bar graph,
It represents category.
okay, categories, and in pie chart, it represents statistical.
Research.
Okay, so moving on to our brainstorming.
Okay, so on the first row, you would have to write this. And it is, what subtopic about statistics and probability do you want to talk about? I'm giving the both of you 20 seconds to tackle on what are you going to write in the first row. So, talk about.
For me, I want to focus on the terms that is related on statistics and probabilities like median and mode. How about you?
For me, I would like to focus on that topic, which is mean.
Also, the both of you have decided to talk about the terms, right? Right?
Yes.
On the second row, right there, what do I think about the topic? So individually, you would have to write your thoughts and insights about the topic that you have chosen, which is the terms. Write your own insights individually. Okay, so on the third row, ask your partners on what does my partner thinks about the topic. I'm giving you again 20 seconds to answer each question.
What do you think about the term that you have chosen? Can you elaborate the meaning of what you chose?
So the mean of a data set is found by adding all numbers in the data set and then dividing by the numbers of values in the set. How about you?
That was impressive. For me, median is the middle value when a data set is ordered from least to greatest. And the other one, which is mode, is the number that occurs most often in the data set.
So in the fourth row, as partners, what are we able to share about statistics and probability? So in this row, both of you will have to discuss on the learnings or insights or what are the things that you were able to get after discussing statistics and probability with the subtopics that the statistics and probability has. So both of you can talk about it also, and then afterwards I'm gonna pick one to elaborate the things that you were able to gather as a pair. So talk about it.
as partners, we were able to understand more about statistics and probabilities because you were able to find some terms that is related to it.
So both of you were able to agree that the terms that you were able to tackle about are all essential in understanding statistical probability.
Yes, because we think that it is really connected when we're going to discuss about stats and probability.
So that's that. Okay, so class, after learning about the history and you were also able to gather thoughts regarding the historical values that were presented in statistical probability. You were also able to identify such terms and meaning in statistics and probability, the formulas and even graphs and charts that were always used in stats were all taught and presented to you. So now you will have to do an activity which is the think, pair, share activity, and you'll be grouped in pairs. So you're gonna work in pair, and then what you need to do is that I have here bond paper, and then both of you will have bond paper each, and then you will need to divide it into 4 rows. Then after that, you need to write the following the different rows. So take 1 paper to each student.
Before we formally end our discussion for today, I would like Mr. Castro to give out his summaries and hopefully share us his new insights and new learnings about the discussion for today. So, Mr. Castro.
So, sir, we've learned about the statistics and the probability. You also taught us about the 12 graphs and charts and the 4 common use graphs and charts.
Can you elaborate the 12 charts and graphs that we have discussed?
So first is the line chart, next the bar chart, stock bar chart, bullet bar chart, column chart, stock column chart, pie chart with highlights, scatter plot chart, bubble chart, stock column volume chart, stock column volume with line chart, sir.
Very good. So you're a very good listener. So, but now, can you explain and can you tell us the 4 most common bars and graphs that is commonly used today?
4 commonly graphs and charts used today is the pie chart, line chart, bar chart, and the column chart, sir.
Yeah, very good. Can you tell us your new learnings and insights about what we have discussed today?
So I learned about that the statistics and the probability is the predicting, analyzing, and measuring the numerical outcome of events. And we can also use the statistics and probability in many ways. For example, there is a typhoon. Pinag-aaralan ng pag-asa kung yung typhoon ba na to is tatama sa lupa, what is the probability. And ginagamit itong statistics and probability sa pag may election. Makikita mo doon yung ranking ng kung sino yung namuna, pangalawa, and kung ano yung probability na manalo yung mga kandidato. And ginagamit din ito ngayon kasi sa COVID-19, yung mga tests sa vaccines na ginagamit ng mga scientists, tinutulok na natin in the large group of animals and people. So, for example, merong 10 tao, so vaccine nila yung 10 yun, and titignan nila kung ilan yung may reaction and kung ilan yung walang reaction. And yun, sir. Madaming gamit yung statistics and probability sa araw-araw nating buhay.
So, very good. Do you have anything you would like to add, or do you have any questions and clarifications?
Sir, wala naman.
To end this session for today, I would like to give you your assignment, which is to create your own graph, which will show that you know how to show and analyze and present your interpreted data using a bar graph, pie chart, and other things that would make us present it better. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir.